Hello beautiful people and welcome back to Chisme Corner. Today we are going to be covering the Tella Part 4. I was expecting a lot of drama this episode, a lot of things to happen, and I was incredibly disappointed. Now let's get into this. Rob and Sophie had left this conversation, Sophie blaming him for wanting to go out with dinner with some random girl. Rob continues to tell us that he just said,
she asked me, hey, maybe we could go to lunch. And I'm like, I mean, sure, maybe.
But he wasn't really like, he didn't really meant it, that this girl is someone that he has never been physically attracted to, and that's something that Sophie knows, and that's something that she's aware of. I don't understand why we're continuing this problem of Rob talking to this girl 2 years ago when we had agreed to move past it, but Sophie continues to bring it up. There's this moment where Rob says, I don't follow a bunch of random women, and then Sophie goes, anymore. I just don't get it. I genuinely don't understand because, no, actually, I do understand. Sophie is a child that does not comprehend yet how relationships work in reality, because what do you mean you forgave him for something he did 2 years ago and you still haven't moved on from it, and you continue to bring it up over and over again? So then Jasmine interrupts and she's like, we need to get to the bottom of this, and you need to tell us what type of girls are you attractive to. So then Rob is like,
the one I married.
That's right. Good.
And that's not, she's exactly what I like.
Right.
and then Jasmine goes, well, why don't you tell that to her face? And he does. And then she's like, oh, that's so sweet, right? Like she gets the face of, oh, I really enjoy that comment. But then goes, that sounds nice. However,
when for multiple years, when we was long distance together,
what we decided to put in the past, can we go back to that? Because of that, I can no longer believe the words that are coming out of his mouth. Then why do you choose to marry this man? The next question they asked Rob is, why are you seeking sexual content from other people instead of getting it from your wife?
On my phone right now.
No. When he has asked me,
And while Rob is trying to explain why he does it, or the fact that he has tried to get, you know, sexual content from Sophie, Sophie's like, no, girl, what are you doing? If Rob would have done that to you, you wouldn't gotten upset. Why is he interrupting you? Why is he not letting you speak? But it's okay when you do it. It's okay when you act like that. Sophie also says that she has sent 2 booty pics to Rob, and she doesn't understand why he wants more than just booty pics, because Rob wants like actual videos. And then she goes, well,
how can I get on camera if I'm not with
Sophie,
you?
well, first of all, that's your fault that you're not living with him. And then he tells her that he sent her a dildo. So, I mean, there is a possibility for you to send some spicy videos, but I also understand why she wouldn't want to send those videos. Videos like that are in your phone forever. And just keep in mind that when you accept the terms and conditions of many applications, when you share things through those applications, that media is also obtainable. Right before we get out of the hot tub,
Because you guys haven't had sex in a long time, right?
they only had sex once in 2023. You know, when they say that marital issues start usually after the 5th year, you know, the 10-year mark, that's when things start getting rough. That's not what happened with Sophie and Rob. So now they're back inside the house, and Rob is talking to the girls, and he's just like, you know, Sophie is just trying to convince all of you that what I've done is worse than what actually happened, because the worst that I did was ask for nudes from someone, and that was when they had just been introduced to us on the OG 90 Day Fiancé, where we saw Sophie go to a different house because she had found the photos that Rob was sending. And then he's like, and now the one that she's talking about me trying to go to dinner with someone, yes, I did try to go get lunch with someone, but it never happened. We didn't continue our conversation, and now she's trying to say that I've been asking a bunch of other women to go out to lunch with me, when it's not true. Sophie is going up the stairs, and that's when they start asking her for the voice memos. And
It might be on my old phone.
do it, please.
so you guys remember that stupid voice memo that we have been waiting for? Well, she doesn't have it. She doesn't have it. She doesn't have it. She starts crying because now Rob is like, yeah, because you're lying. You're just trying to find a reason for us to break up. And then even Ashley asks her, are you just trying to find a reason to get out of this? And she's like, well,
Why do I need an excuse to not be with you? I have many reasons.
then why haven't you left him? You spent this entire time talking about this stupid voice memo, this stupid voice memo. Now she's saying that her mom didn't save the voice memo, but come on, that voice memo did not exist.
She ain't got it either, does she?
You're lying.
Well, what you're doing is you're manipulative.
There's this moment where Rob steps to a different room and Manuel goes up to him and he's just like, hey, I just want to tell you that like you're a good person and I think that everyone deserves love. You know, me and Ashley have a lot of problems. But then back with the girls, there's this moment where Sophie's trying to give clarity into why she still has not let go of the cheating situation. And she says that even though she forgave him about the cheating, one of the things that she had asked him to do was to not watch porn. And within a couple weeks of that promise, Rob had already watched porn. He was watching a specific thing that she was just like, that's not me, like I am not Latina, and they got into detail for that, but I'm not going to because YouTube doesn't like it. Liz has been asking for receipts since everything has started, and now she's like, where are the receipts? Where are the receipts? What type of woman is Rob interested in? And Sophie pulls up like photos of what she says Rob is interested on.
This is the first time, okay?
Okay, that what? No, you're lying.
Look, I know that some people agree with like how Sophie is embarrassing Rob, but I think it's so distasteful that you are putting that information out there for everyone to see and for everyone to know. If that is the type of woman that, you know, Rob is interested on, and that is the type of woman that he's looking for,
There is no way.
why would you tell everyone? Because right now you guys are doing it in a malicious way. It's not because you're trying to get your point across or because you're trying to make people understand your side of the story. It's because you're being malicious. You want to embarrass this man. And just so you know, you're also embarrassing yourself in the process. When they were doing long distance, she actually sent a mold over to, she sent like a kit over to Rob.
He molded it to his.
He sent it over to the UK. Sophie did her work with it, sent him videos, and it still wasn't enough for him. So she's trying to bring that up as like, you see, nothing I do is ever enough for him. It doesn't matter how I try to please him. It's just never gonna be enough. Once they are done with this, Rob is still talking to Manuel on the side, and Manuel is telling him that now that he has been in this relationship with Sophie, he understands now what he needs to do better in his next relationship.
Y no cometas el mismo error que hiciste con Sophie. Nada más.
I've learned from my mistakes, man.
And that he needs to be thankful that they don't even have kids because it will make it worse for them to separate. And I totally do agree with that. When there's kids in the picture, it makes it harder for people to go separate ways. But I think right now you guys have a great opportunity to move on and say bye to one another. Like, you guys are already in a very toxic cycle. Of course, they slept in separate bedrooms. You know, how are they gonna sleep together? And then the next morning when they're all going to the tell-all, the girls in the car are telling Sophie,
like, the best thing that can happen to you guys is to get divorced.
Yeah, I agree.
he's never gonna find a woman like me. And trust me, Sophie, the whole point of Rob leaving you is to not find someone like you. So that will happen. Once they get to the tell-all, Rob is sitting on the couch, all sad, all snoopy. He's just like this little sad puppy that just wants someone to come pet him. And he's saying that he didn't really sleep, that he had nightmares, that he was getting up over and over again. Emily turns around and sees him, and she tells Sophie about it.
I mean, he likes to act like the sad puppy, and
Yeah,
everyone's like,
but he's in the wrong too.
Yeah, all the boys are surrounding Rob, and they're, you know, asking him how everything's going, if he's okay, that they have hope that the relationship is gonna work. And then Gino's like, just look at me and Jasmine, like, just look at us. We came here in very opposite sides of the coin, and just things have been better, which is all a lie. You guys are like the best actors, I guess, because you guys always like to pretend that your relationship is doing great when in reality you guys just suck and all of this is just fake and for the cameras. But I digress. These are the moments where I like Jasmine, where I can stand Jasmine, where I'm just like, girl, yeah, I love it. But then I remember who she is and I quickly forget about it. Ed goes up to Jasmine and tells him that the fact that she's attracted to Gino gives him hope. And he's like, me and Liz, like, I feel so complete with her. And then I decided to break her heart and do all these horrible things to her. And Jasmine is kind of giving him tips, but she's also drilling him at the same time. I can see that you are genuinely happy for Liz. And he's like, yeah, that's how it is. And she's like, yeah, but now you can see what you can work on, right? Because you have a big mouth. And you can be kind of an asshole, especially when it comes to women.
You have a big mouth. You're an ass when you're not being stupid.
I think he's just trying to be nice because, you know, he's gotten nothing but scraps this entire tell-all, which is all that he deserves, if less than that. And then she just tells him that she doesn't want him to die alone in his house, getting eaten by his dogs, which is probably going to happen at the end of the day because I don't see anyone that would like to spend the rest of their life with Ed. Now it's time for Sean to ask the questions, right? The amazing, beautiful questions that she always asks. I think we need to sign the petition to put Fuecoco in to ask the questions because he has great questions to ask Sophie and Rob. She notices, you know, that Rob and Sophie are sitting in different chairs and not together. So what is going on? And Rob tells her that yesterday they got into it. And today, Sophie decided that she doesn't want to be next to him because she's mad at him. When they ask Sophie what the problem is, she goes,
He was bad-mouthing me, which is very disrespectful because I'm his wife.
let's not forget that you were also bad-mouthing your husband yesterday. Can you please be fair? And we have seen that Sophie does not like to take any kind of accountability. Over and over again, she always chooses to throw everything back at Rob over and over again, and she cannot take accountability. She cannot take any criticism. Patrick interrupts really quick and he goes, hey Sophie, I've talked to Rob by ourselves and he's never said anything bad about you. And then Sophie goes, well, yeah, but like I walked in on him talking about me. Talking about you does not mean he's talking poorly about you. And yes, Rob has said things like, you know, you don't take accountability. Sophie doesn't let go of the past. She's trying to paint me as a bad person. I don't think that's bad mouthing your partner. I think he's just stating how he feels and sharing his opinions.
Sophie has gotten so used to being validated.
And everyone is telling her to go back home. So of course, she is not getting the validation that she wants and that she thinks that she deserves. So that's why she's acting the way that she is.
Again, that's a complete lack of accountability.
That had nothing to do with accountability. Rob is literally saying that you like to be validated, which has nothing to do with him not taking accountability for his actions. And he tells her, yes, I have taken accountability. I do this over and over again. But, and then Sophie grabs onto the butt and she's like, yeah, you see, like right now, he just used but this, but that, but here, but then.
When it's not accurate, I have to say I cannot.
He is not going to take accountability for things that he is not responsible for. Like the boys memo that we still have not seen and that you are probably not going to give to us. So Sean asked Sophie and Rob if they slept together. They didn't. Then she asked Jasmine and Gino, and when Jasmine is giving her a dumb answer of them sleeping together but still being like on opposite sides of the bed.
His side and I had my side.
You're a very calculated and mean person.
And then when they ask them what are they talking about, Rob says that Sophie blocked him on everything. Sophie had told the girls that she was gonna divorce Rob in the morning, and then Jasmine brings it up to him, and Rob says that it's not fair to him because he has to be responsible for everything that happens and also allow her to inflate things. Sophie is saying that this is very one-sided, and I do agree with her on that. In the outside world where these two are, it's been incredibly one-sided to hate everything that Rob does and love everything that Sophie does.
Been sitting back like I got my support system. You just gonna have to figure out how to fix it.
Rob hasn't really had anyone with him this entire time, and he always has to go through all of this by himself. While Sophie always has someone to run to when things get difficult. Instead of her running to her partner or trying to fix things with him, she's running to people that enable her every single time to make bad decisions and not take accountability for her actions.
It's like a sympathy contest. Like, okay, who is Team Sophie? Who's Team Rob?
I personally don't think that Rob is playing the sympathy game, anyone that is watching her, but I don't think that Rob is trying to gain sympathy. I think that what he's trying to do is clear his name and clear all the accusations that have come out about him. You know, he's trying to actually paint the picture that there's always 3 sides of a story. You have Rob's side of the story, you have Sophie's side of the story, and then you have the truth. And we are never going to know the truth because we're all biased. Now we are talking about Loren and Alexei and how they feel about the entire surgery and how everything played out. Now, I'm not going to go into detail for their segment because it's literally the same thing over and over again and they bored me to death. But there were a couple things that were brought up, and one of them was that Sean asked the cast members if they felt like what Loren did was selfish, and also if she put a lot of pressure onto Alexei. Some of the cast members think that what Loren did was selfish and that she should have waited, that she didn't really think about the kids. You know, what if she passes away during surgery and
he ends up a single father of 3.
And then some people think that Alexei was just not prepared for this, that he doesn't really understand what it takes to take care of the kids the way that Loren has and the way that Loren does now. I personally think that both of those things can be true at the same time. I don't think Alexei knew how difficult it was to actually take care of the kids 24/7, and on top of that having to take care of Loren, his job, and a caretaker. But I also feel like Loren was selfish. You know, I think she could have waited longer to get the surgery. I think that she didn't completely disclose a lot of the things that were going to happen thanks to the surgery to Alexei to prevent him from saying no to it.
I'm very proud of you because you did it for you, and I think every mom needs to do something for themselves.
And I also think that, you know, if Loren needed the surgery for her to feel better about putting her body through 3 children, I think she deserves it, and I think that she should get it. Like, I have nothing against her getting the surgery. Loren wants to get more surgeries.
My arms, my upper back, lower back, and my thighs, and then he injected them here.
I personally don't think that Loren looks any different than before she got the surgery. So I would love to know how you guys feel about how Loren looks. Do you guys think that she looks any different? Do you guys think that she looks the same? And then they also asked the other girls if they would do any surgeries. They asked Jasmine if she would get anything done.
My waist tinier, breaking up my rib, bigger butt implants, bigger on my breast.
I'm not gonna say that I was surprised by her response because I wasn't. But the fact that this woman is still trying to get more surgeries over and over again when she already kind of looks like plastic, it's just wild to me.
If Ashley said, okay, I want to go get a complete makeover, how would you feel about that?
I mean, do we really need to ask him? No, but he says that he will be okay with Ashley getting any type of surgery that she wants to make herself feel better.
Porque necesito que mi hijo tenga una teta de verdad y no un chupón de plástico.
So I thought that was an interesting comment. What do you guys think about that? What are your opinions in regards to getting a boob job before having kids or after having kids? I wouldn't get a boob job before having kids because it defeats the entire purpose. Like, they're gonna mess up my boobs.
Just saying.
I'm just saying that I'm not gonna be a cheerleader, okay?
He signed up for, you know, the traditional values of her staying home, taking care of the kids, what he provides. Now, he goes on to explain to everyone that the reason why he acted the way he did was because, you know, this was the first night that they were going out after all the stressful things they went through. So he thought, you know, this night was for him.
She got a new dress, she dressed up for me, she put on heels, and she said, let's go for a date night.
For him. And then when he realized that she did this just to tell him that she wants to go back to work and change the dynamic of their marriage, that's what set him off. It just feels like at times Alexei doesn't really comprehend that it is not just about him, it's also about Loren. But I also can see why Alexei would be like, you know, she already got what she wanted. Now it's my turn. When do I get to get what I want? But everyone has their own opinions about it. I would love to know what you guys think of this. I do want to make it clear that Alexei does not have a problem with Loren going back to work, but he does not want to jeopardize what they already have at home.
I don't have a problem with her bringing in money and support, as long as she can combine being a mom and a wife to me.
Do you feel like Alexei might be like, oh yeah, you can go to work, but once you come home, you still have to do all these things that you would have done if you were a stay-at-home mom? He says that that is not the case. He says that he is helpful and that he will pick up the slack that Loren can cover if she does go back to work. So we'll see how that plays out. Loren's mom brings up that at times, Alexei can come off as an alpha male. And those specific times, she wants to slap him in the face because she feels like he'll leave Loren to do a lot of the work when it comes to the house and the kids and not really want to help. Alexei doesn't see a problem with being called the alpha male. And I think nowadays when we hear the word alpha male, we think of people like Andrew Tate. I actually wanted to go ahead and get my husband's opinions in regards to the alpha male situation and some of the comments that Alexei has made, because I really wanted to hear a man's perspective in regards to this. So here you guys go.
Alexei's statements are very conflicting with the way he wants to be perceived, because if you're going to go around saying you're the alpha male and no self-respecting man would allow themselves to be perceived in such a way, but then you also go on TV and you say statements like, I'm okay with Loren also being a provider, without giving yourself a little bit more on the workload. That's just odd to me if you're going to be this dominant male force in the family, but you're not willing to take on more work if you're going to give your work away, right? I think that there's this misconception that when people are like, I'm the alpha male, I'm the dominant one in the family. I think a lot of people's perception of what that was back then is you are the man that goes out and brings food on the table. Quite literally, you go hunting, you have to protect your family. And even Alexei makes a statement about how he is the protector in the family. But protecting his family from what exactly? That's the confusing part to me, because I don't imagine he walks his kids to school every day and he's getting into fights. It's just a really weird thing for me. I don't understand, because I can tell you, as what I'd like to think I'm the provider in this family, I don't have to do anything like that to bring food on the table. I go to work and I get a paycheck, and then I do all my other fatherly duties without having to risk my life or put on some kind of go out and hunt for food for my children or anything like that. And if Karen takes anything from my plate, I feel a sense of obligation to take on some myself, because then, you know, now I'm given more space, more time to do something. Unless I'm overburdened or overbearing, then of course, you know, that's just different. She's taking it off my plate because I'm doing so much.
Both of them are strong-willed people, and that both of them are going to do as they please. That's a relationship, and both of them are fine with it. So we're moving on. And the witch is back, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my goodness.
Hi, Sean.
Now Angela is here, and she says that she came back for all of you. For you people that asked for her. For the girls, for the guys, for the gays, for everyone.
So I decided to come back and give them the support that I should have gave them.
Playing the victim. And Kobe tells her, you know, I'm not gonna sit here anymore and listen to you disrespect Mike over and over again. You have yelled at your husband in front of everyone. You have disrespected him
to the level that even a fly cannot respect him.
Okay, well,
And
that's
it's
your
just-
opinion.
Just when you think that you couldn't fall in love with Kobe anymore, you fall in love with him again. And then Angela goes, I don't care, Kobe. I don't care. Mind your business. Like, get out. You're at a tell-all where everyone can voice out their opinions. You're just used to Michael not speaking. So now when you're seeing someone else speak for him, you're like, oh my God, I can't take it. And she turns around to Michael and she's like, what are you gonna do? Stand up for me. Tell him to shut up. Tell him to stop talking. Why would he do that? But Michael does, of course. He's like, hey, Kobe, please just like stay away from this evil witch. You don't want to get your hands dirty. One thing that Sean does do is that she brings up the fact that when Angela left, the investigator confirmed that Michael was not scamming her. And what's her excuse? Well,
he only had 2 weeks to investigate. I don't know his social medias that he had behind my back.
Which, as we know, they are probably fake. And that is the entire segment of Angela and Michael. I was disappointed because I just wanted to see more of Angela getting called out. And I think that Sean did a horrible job of not displaying some of the scenes that we saw throughout the season of examples of how horrible Angela is. And now we are moving on to Ashley and Manuel.
Thank you to me, Sean.
Where everyone drills Manuel on why he has not learned the language just yet. Everyone has their own opinions about it, but I do agree with a lot of them when they say that one of the main reasons why he hasn't learned the language is because he always has someone to translate for him. When you don't need to learn a language, you want, because you have people telling you how to say things, you have people translating everything to you. So of course he doesn't feel the need to do it because he has Ashley.
His version of learning it is putting his earbuds in and like taking a nap.
And that Manuel was saying that what he wants to do is like learn the language by himself. He wants to get apps and do it himself. He doesn't want to take Ashley's money. He doesn't want to do any of that. He just wants to do it himself. The problem is that he's not taking the initiative to do so. So I really hope that Manuel really puts in the effort to learning the language.
Manuel, do you want to work in this country?
Yo sí.
Sí.
I do think that he has to learn the language. And I think that it is incredibly important for him to be able to communicate with other people. What is he gonna do if Ashley's not there anymore? How is he gonna understand everything happening around him? Now they bring Ashley's cousin and her sister in, and I just gotta say, every time that her sister makes an entrance, her outfit is killing it. Her hair is killing it. This woman is just gorgeous. And yeah, I just wanted to put it out there. When they get there and they sit down, Sean is like, well, do you guys think that Manuel is hoarding money? Do you think that he's doing it as a safety net so he can, you know, have somewhere to land if things fall apart?
Private, and he doesn't really let her know like what he needs the money for.
And that they only hope that maybe he's doing it with a good intention, but they are not sure. When they ask Manuel if he is hoarding money, he says that
Ahorita tengo ahorrado algo en la casa.
Usually when he goes to the store or Ashley sends him to run an errand, he'll keep the change and he'll save it. I know that some people might not understand this, but in a lot of Latino cultures, when people have money like that, they like to save it because that's the only safety net. He comes from a place where he didn't have money, where his resources were zero to none, where he didn't know where his next meal was gonna come from. Now that he's here and that he does have a secure meal and that he has extra money, he saves it. I personally don't think there's anything wrong with Manuel saving up money. Like, I do think that Ashley should know about this. I do think that Ashley should be aware of it, and I don't think that Manuel should be hiding things from her.
Es decir, yo soy un fanático de los billetes de a dólar y de las monedas. Me gusta coleccionar.
Yeah.
He likes to collect coins. Like, he has this like love for the $1 bill and for coins. And again, a lot of Latinos do, because this is like superior. You know, we have made to believe that dollars and money from the US is this amazing thing that you can only imagine, you can only dream of. And now that you get to hold it and you get to have it in your hands, it's just like so pretty, so just, it's like the dream came true. One thing that did annoy me a lot is that anytime that Manuel was trying to express himself about certain things that he does, Ed always had like a stupid expression on his face. Like, it just seemed like Ed thinks that all immigrants are lower than Americans. He was being an asshole to Michael, now he's being an asshole to Manuel. And it just feels wrong. Like, he was also an asshole to Thais. He was also an asshole to Sophie. Like, he always has this thing where when it comes to an immigrant, he sees them as low, as nothing, as disposable. And I don't like it.
If there's something going on with Mama, let me know what's going on with Mama.
Jasmine tells Manuel that it is his responsibility to tell Ashley what that money is being used for because she's the one providing the money. Manuel says that with him just simply saying it's going towards my children, that should be sufficient for her to understand what that money is doing. But Ashley says that sometimes Manuel would say things like, it's for everyone over there. It's for the family over there. So is it going to your kids? Is it going to your uncles? Like, where is that money going to? I do believe that there should be like 100% transparency on what that money is doing and where that money is going, because It is her money at the end of the day. Like, you guys are in a marriage, but at the same time, you guys need to speak to each other about everything that's happening around you, and specifically the money.
That's why I'm concerned about the money. Is he hoarding the money to go back secretly?
And Manuel tells her, why do you care where that money goes to, or if I'm hoarding money when she's giving it to me?
No sé por qué te preocupa por un dinero que me regalan a mí.
And then Ed steps in and he's just like, he's not even learning English. He's not even learning English. So what are you going to do? What is it going to take for you, Ashley, for you to understand that he doesn't want to do this? Ashley says that she is waiting for Manuel to get the worker's permit so she can start seeing, you know, if this is going to make a difference and if it's going to drive him to being more responsible or doing more things around the house or not lying to her.
When did you file it? Did you wait a while?
Recently.
And why did...
Sean is questioning, why did it take so long to file the worker's permit? Like, why till now? Because he should have had it already by now, but he still doesn't. And Ashley says that, well, the reason why it took so long is because she was so overwhelmed. She was going to the gym, she was managing her business, filming, and all this other stuff. And on top of that, she has to do all of the paperwork herself. Now, we already know that immigration paperwork can be extensive and it's lengthy. It's a lot of work. So I do understand her when it comes to that. It is a lot of work. But Manuel is saying that
This
is an incredibly stupid excuse, because while that's happening, you could learn the language and you could start. So when you get your worker's permit, you already know English and you can start applying for jobs that require you to know English. Manuel then mentions that Ashley spends 4 hours at the gym, and he's just like, why can't she now take some time out of that to actually start my paperwork? Like, she can do 1 hour a day. Instead of going 4 hours to the gym, why don't you go 3 hours or 2 hours and then file his paperwork?
Can I buy him a shovel for all the bull?
Again, it continues to interrupt over and over again. While Manuel might be dodging some of the questions and dodging some of the responses that he must make, I don't necessarily feel like he's digging for things to bring up during this conversation. When Ashley realized how overwhelmed she was, it did take her a while to get it, but she did get a lawyer to make sure that they could process all the paperwork, knowing that she's extremely overwhelmed. It also turns out that Ashley's sister, Cece, sent Manuel the information to an immigration program where they could help him with the paperwork, but Manuel didn't use it at the end of the day. And also, Ashley was not happy about the situation because she thinks that all of this immigration process should be kept between both of them. You know, it should be kept inside the marriage. But at the same time, I'm like, well, that is your fault at the end of the day, because you constantly share things with your family over and over again. Like, I mean, just look at his birthday party. All of you attacked him that day. And I'm not saying that Manuel was right, but do you really think that is the way to go? So for you to say that you don't want your family involved, when you involve your family, it's just a little childish to me.
And like Manuel being so secretive and sneaky, it just makes it feel like he's got other, you know, motives.
Manuel goes on to explain that he's crying because he feels like Ashley didn't prioritize his paperwork, and all he wants from her is to help him with his kids. Sean decides to move on to the finance conversation, and they play the clip where Ashley hired an attorney to try to figure out if they were going to get a postnuptial agreement. And it turns out that Manuel and Ashley never talked about finances. And we also get an answer as to how much money Manuel owes in Ecuador. And he says that it's $3,000. After they play the clip, Liz also goes off on Manuel, telling him that, you know,
that is your wife. She is help providing for your family and your sons.
But to get any answers out of him, we have to dig them. And if we don't dig them, then he tells us that his life is private and that he doesn't want to talk about it. And he tells us his excuse is that Ashley needs to ask him those questions. That if Ashley asks him anything, he's gonna answer honestly and he's not gonna hide anything from her. But come on, Manuel, we have seen you on these episodes and you have lied many times. There's times where Ashley will ask you something and you'll go with your favorite excuse. My life is private. My life is private. sorry to tell you, but your life is not private to Ashley's because you guys are married. So you do need to pick up on that, and you do need to start sharing things with your partner because you guys marry each other for a reason. Sean then asks Ashley's cousin if it's hypocritical that Manuel doesn't want to pay for her student loan debt while Ashley is sending money to his family in Ecuador.
I think it's hypocritical because he's asking her to send money back home to take care of his family.
Which is completely understandable because if you guys are partners, if you guys are married, and right now she's helping you send money to your kids in Ecuador, and she's helping you pay for things that she doesn't have to. When you get a job, you should be able to put money aside every month so you guys can help pay her debt. As a husband, you should be able to do that. And as a wife, Ashley, you should be able to help him with his family.
¿Qué son $3,000 para ella? Nada.
That's not fair to say.
The cousin and some of the cast members don't think that Ashley should have to worry about Manuel's $3,000 debt. Then Ashley's like, how am I supposed to be worried about a $3,000 debt when I have so many things to do over here? Well, I have to worry about our mortgage, our bills, my payments, like all the things that I have to do. Why do I have to worry about that? And Manuel's like, well, you wouldn't have to worry about that if 1 year ago you would have just filed my paperwork and I would be employed right now, so you wouldn't have to worry about that. And Ashley's like, okay, fine. I admit that I didn't file the paperwork when I had to and that I should have done it faster. But again, it's because you didn't learn English, which is deflecting to what's happening right now. Could just take the accountability that you file his paperwork way too late, and that is one of the reasons why you guys are bleeding money.
You were more interested in a post-nup than filing his paperwork?
If you had enough time to get a post-nup lawyer, that means you had enough time to get an immigration lawyer to file the paperwork. And Ashley just gets upset. Just because it happened to you this way, it doesn't mean it happened to me this way. Just because it went for you like this doesn't mean it went for me like this.
It's not like I was like his paperwork, because if I was like his paperwork.
Okay, Ashley. Again, you didn't answer the question. Like, he's asking you, but eventually she's like, I guess I should have, but I didn't. Kobe also steps in and goes, you just didn't prioritize it. That's the real reason. And Ashley gets mad again. And she's like,
Kobe, you also came here without a job. And you did your paperwork, not your wife.
Yes, but he also knew English. Then Sean asked Manuel, you know, there's been twice in the past where you have threatened Ashley to go back to Ecuador if she stops sending money to your family. Are you committed to making this marriage work?
Podría ser.
No.
No.
This woman has been helping you for years. This woman has been sending money to your family, has been taking care of you, has been paying your bills. For you to just say maybe? Come on, Manuel. We can do better. After Manuel says maybe, Liz tells Ashley that she really hopes that she doesn't stop taking care of the kids just simply because Manuel said no until Manuel goes back to Ecuador, if that's going to be the case. And Ashley says that she wasn't planning on that. It is already difficult enough for her to think that
I already feel bad enough that I took their dad away. Like,
so she's just like, this is already hard enough for me. So to have to hear him say maybe is just heartbreaking because I want to work on this marriage. And then Manuel says that he really only said this because of how upset he is, because he feels like he has to ask Ashley for those things. You know, he's like, I have to be waiting for her to get my visa. And it just feels wrong that I have to constantly be asking her for help in those things.
No es verdad, eso no es lo que quise decir. Pero tú sabes cuando uno está enojado.
But the damage is done already. You just told your wife that maybe, just maybe, you don't want to be with her anymore and that you're going to go back to Ecuador. And with that, the tell-all is over. At least them sitting around hearing dumb questions from Sean. They're gonna get some dinner before they have to go back to the house. Jasmine goes over to sit down next to Emily and she starts like rubbing her feet because, you know, Emily has freaking swollen ass feet.
What do you think?
Look, your fantasy.
I feel like there was kind of like something going around there because we know that Gino has like a little fetish and and Jasmine was like, look, Gino, here's your fantasy coming true. It's gonna be disgusting. Do not do this. But it didn't happen.
Don't you feel like Loren and Alexei didn't get from literally anyone?
I don't know what you guys were expecting. Like, if you guys really had something to say, then you guys should have just said it. Let's just be honest. They have one of the best marriages out here. So even though I don't like Loren and Alexei because I never really liked them, but it doesn't change the fact that they have a good marriage. Sophie and Rob, you guys don't live together. Jasmine and Gino, you guys are suffering from ED, and you, Jasmine, yelling at Gino 24/7. And then you have Thais and Patrick, which we already know that Thais likes to stir up drama and then make Patrick deal with it.
And then she was really nice to Thais' face after she was talking about her the whole time on Pillow Talk.
She's fake.
And I just want to point out to everyone that Sophie and Rob were sitting in separate chairs because Sophie was so mad she wants to divorce Rob. She even blocked him. While right now, she's sitting next to him and she's wearing his coat. Girl, why? Why? Loren and Alexei are the least of your problems right now. You should be focusing on your freaking marriage. Thais is like, oh yeah, she's been talking shit about me on Pillow Talk. They cut to this clip.
She's not nice. She can't talk like that to his brother.
I would love to hang out with John. He's so funny.
And now, can you guys tell me if that is talking shit about someone? Please tell me if that is talking shit about someone. And we already know that Thais is selfish, that she does not want to build a relationship with John, and that she tears him down a lot, even when he helps her do a lot of things. If it wasn't for John, Patrick and your dad would have never created the connection they did back on your trip. So you should be thankful to John. And as they're talking shit about Loren and Alexei, guess who shows up? Loren and Alexei. And they're showing up with their suitcases because they're actually going home. And I don't blame them. They have 3 kids. They don't have any babysitters to watch them. Their parents are not going to be available. So they have to go back home.
Oh, man, you guys get off so easy.
Out of everyone here, they have one of the best marriages. We might not like them, but we can't just not look at that. So Loren starts saying bye to everyone, and she's giving everyone hugs, being like, oh, I love you guys. I love you so much. Kind of fake, honestly, but whatever. Once she gets to Sophie,
That was such a half-assed hug, but okay, no, another half-assed hug.
And then when she steps out, she's like, so I got 2 half-assed hugs, I guess. Sophie is like, well, yeah, because you're leaving after your segment. Like, you're gonna leave us to deal with all of this. And Loren says,
so get on a flight and go home.
I'm not a fan of Loren, but what is she supposed to do? Deal with your marital issues just because you have a shitty ass marriage? No, she's off to see her children. And I was hoping that the drama between Thais and Loren was gonna be like juicy and just so good, and that Thais was actually gonna call out Loren for something good. And this is what you're calling her out on? This is what you're calling her out on? The fact that she doesn't want to deal with your guys' issues?
Would you like us to sit and you can say whatever you would like right now? Because I've got 5 minutes.
So I respect that of her. If anything, there is many topics that could have been brought up in regards to Loren and Alexei, like his weaponized incompetence, also Palestine and Israel. That could have been a topic brought up and no one brought it up. Cast members didn't do it, TLC didn't do it, Sean didn't do it, and I understand that it's a controversial topic, but at the same time, any of you disagreed on it. You guys could have spoken up, you guys could have said anything, but neither of you did. So why are you guys crying now? It doesn't even make sense. We don't bring those things up, right? We don't talk about those things. So yeah, I know that I'll probably get a couple people telling me, you know, why am I bringing this up? Why am I talking about this? But it is what it is. You guys might feel a specific type of way about my opinions and my beliefs, but we are here to listen to everyone else's opinions and to have conversations and discussions about this. So if anything, please keep it respectful down in the comments, even though I didn't tell you guys what my perspective is. So please try to keep it respectful towards everyone and towards me. And that is all, guys, for the preview. It looks like Angela is gonna get on Kobe's face. And let's square up, Angela. Let's square up, because all the 90 Day Fiancé community stands with Kobe. So get off his ass, because Kobe told Michael that Angela has no right to hold his visa because that is his personal document. And that is true. Ed and Liz have this stupid hug where they say goodbye to each other, and it is like, oh my god, I miss you. I love so much. Let me know what you guys thought about the episode. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. As always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. If you're looking for ways to support the channel, you can become part of my members. You can buy me a coffee. You can subscribe. That is completely free. You don't have to pay nothing. You just have to see my beautiful face. So bye guys, have a great week. Bye.